Hello, good evening, and welcome to Matchday at the Cop. This is episode number 3. It's been a little bit of a break between the last episode and this, and the reason for that is that the festive fixture has been on. There have been virtually, I think, 30-40 games in the last 1 week, 3 different game weeks within 1 week, because we've had midweek matches, which has led one game into another, one story into another, and therefore I just wanted to take it all in, to have a bird's eye view, and then do this episode. So, welcome, and let's get started. I'm going to start off with the games that really stuck out in my head. And since this is a Liverpool first podcast, I'm going to start with the 2 Liverpool games. And yes, the 2 Liverpool draws. Now, Liverpool drew 0-0 against Leeds at home. There's a pause there for a reason. 0-0 against Leeds. The same Leeds, yes, who they drew 3-3 against last month, yes. So basically, Arne Slot's Liverpool has drawn back-to-back games against Leeds home and away. So yes, that happened over the week. And over the weekend, they drew again. This time away to Fulham. Now, there is a air going on which is buzzing with some kind of stuff that says Liverpool are 8 games unbeaten, Liverpool are now 7 games unbeaten. There are 4 draws in that. Let me remind you against which teams those 4 draws have come. Like I just mentioned, 2 against Leeds, 1 against Southampton, and 1 this weekend against Fulham. Now, given that Liverpool aren't the team that they were last season, there is absolutely no business that Liverpool should be drawing 4 out of their last 8 games. In fact, let me put it in another spin for you. Liverpool have only won 5 out of the last 15 games. So I'm going to just leave it out there for you guys to decide whether this is a great unbeaten run or this is an absolute hoodwink of a phase going on for Liverpool. Because I think this is the Houdini effect. Arne Slot, he's not good enough. He's not good enough. I have to say this. I have to say this right out there because I've been skirting around the issue. I don't want to be that guy who goes on the podcast and says this guy should be sacked. You know, we just had 2 managers being sacked in the last few days. And I don't want to be that guy who says that. And of course, Liverpool fans are going to always jump at any Liverpool supporter who says that because, hey, he just won us a title and we don't sack title-winning managers. Well, guess what? We need to. Because the kind of club and the kind of team that we already are, not what we just want to be, we already are, is a big club. Is a club that signs $500 million worth of players in a summer transfer window, which we never used to be, but now we are. We are a club that has been competing for top honors for the last decade. We weren't before that in the previous decade, but now we are. So guess what? To all the Liverpool fans out there, I say this, please wake up and smell the coffee. This manager is simply not good enough to turn it around. Look at the game this weekend, for example. At 90 minutes plus 4, Cody Gakpo gets the winner, or the supposed winner, for Liverpool. Liverpool lead 2-1 after being 1-0 down against Fulham. And do you know what? Between that and the 97th minute equalizer, I had one thought in my head. And when I went on X, I saw that was pretty much the thought across the board, which was, we don't deserve to win this game. Can you imagine that there are so many games I can pick out in the last few months where we won the game? I made an entire sort of short about this, a little kind of a snippet, where I spoke about this against the win against Fulham. When I said, can a win feel like a loss? And yes, it did. This win against Fulham would have felt like the same, not a loss, but definitely we didn't deserve to win this. We were better than what we were against Spurs, I felt, yeah, for sure, because we showed a lot of pragmatism, we showed that we can stick it out. But do you know that Fulham had chances to make it 2-1 before we made it 2-1? And on another day, Fulham could have won this game 3-2. They didn't, they won it 2-all. Now, there were people who came out and said, come on, just look at that, last dying second, 25 yards out, the guy's taken a shot and it's gone in. What a goal. It's probably one of the goals of the season. Hold on. Look at that goal again. Yeah, he's 25 yards out. Do you see the space he has around him to take that shot? There is not one player pressurizing him. In the last dying minute, seconds of the game, there is not one single Liverpool player who's charging at him, trying to make it. Just put him off. Just put him. He literally had time to take the ball, push it ahead, set himself, have a look at the goalkeeper, and take a shot. Now, basically, that in a nutshell is what Liverpool play like nowadays. They wait and watch. Is the opponent going to be brilliant enough? If not, we will manage. You have to play thinking that the opponent is going to be good enough. They are going to take shots on target and probably kick it in from 20-25 yards out. Another goal that just comes into mind, because I'm on the same topic of the goal that just went in, because a lot of people turning up and saying, oh, no, that's a one-off goal. Don't talk about that goal when you talk about the game reaction. Okay, I'll talk about another goal that happened similarly against Liverpool this season, away from home, Caicedo. Moises Caicedo, if you remember, at the bridge, again about not that far out, but straighter, just takes the touch, takes a couple of steps, nobody comes to him, takes a shot, whack, goal, 1-0, Chelsea. Why? Because you're basically, the whole defensive attitude, the team setup is, let's wait, stand back and allow the opponent to take a shot. And yeah, maybe, of course, it doesn't always go in. It doesn't always go in, but it does also go in a lot. And that is the difference between a good defensive team like Arsenal and, mind you, City over the last few weeks as well. They don't give that much time on the ball. Any great football team in the world does not give that much time on the ball to its opponents. I'm really sorry to say that I think there is no character, there is no imagination, there is no desire to kind of win the ball back. Attacking play. I mean, everyone said Arne Slot is all about the attacking play. I don't know what's going on with the attack. Honestly, the goals that are scored are individual moments from players who honestly should be doing that in the first place far more often in the game. They do it once in a way in the game and then it pays off because they're just that good. I have been screaming this out on Matchday at the Cop. Liverpool are far too good a team to be waiting for one other defender to come in or one other winger to come in. This team right now in this season, given, doesn't deserve to be first, doesn't deserve to be ahead of Arsenal. I accept that. But it should firmly be in and around where Manchester City is. Manchester City this season haven't been amazing. They haven't been their true self. Look at the results. I'm going to come to their results from this week. They had back-to-back draws themselves. But yet, we're so far away from them. Look at where we are. We're miles away from Manchester City. And let me be very frank, we're miles away from Aston Villa. Enzo Maresca was sacked by Chelsea because his Chelsea team were miles off it against Aston Villa, and his tactics were not good enough compared to the tactics used by Unai Emery during the game. And I completely understand why they reacted to that. The fans reacted to that because I made a show talking about that as well. And that is how top clubs react. Now, let's keep Chelsea aside a minute. This is exactly what's been going against Arne Slot. He seems to be outsmarted by Oliver Glasner 1 week. The next week, he's completely outplayed by Pep Guardiola. I won't be surprised if we are absolutely thrashed against Arsenal. I just won't be surprised that the coming week, the game against Arsenal at the Emirates, I'm praying. I'm literally praying. I hope we lose maybe respectively 3-1, 2-0. I'm praying for that. This is where we're at. In the beginning of the season, after our win 1-0 at home against Arsenal, how many of you all would have said that this is an acceptable position for Liverpool to be in? This is just not acceptable. Arne Slot has to simply go. The fact that Manchester United and Chelsea have sacked their managers before Liverpool have gotten rid of Arne Slot actually doesn't show stability on Liverpool's end. It shows that Chelsea and Manchester United actually realize that they're there and thereabouts, that top four, and it's there for the taking. And if a new manager comes in and there's a new manager bounce, there's a realistic chance of getting European football. That's true, by the way, because Liverpool are that shaky. The top three teams are Aston Villa, City, and Arsenal. And if Liverpool don't take action as a club, the managerial position, whether it's the kind of players that are, the way the players are performing, all of it, if it isn't handled by the scruff of the neck right now, I don't see Liverpool finishing in the top four. They're just one or two defeats away from falling back to sixth, seventh, eighth. And who's to say that Chelsea under a new manager or United under a new manager don't, or Newcastle who are on their way ascending up, don't hold on to that top four spot and finish in the top four or the top five. I really feel that this is a very crucial part of the season and Arne Slot needs to go. The next game I'm going to talk about is the game between City and Chelsea this weekend. Now remember, this was a very different kind of a game for City. They came into this game over with a shock 0-0 against Southampton, which put them 4 points behind Arsenal, the leaders who won their midweek game. And they pretty much had to win this game against Chelsea because nobody wanted, I don't think Pep Guardiola wanted to be 6 points behind, but that's exactly what happened. Now, they took the lead. Tijani Rendias gave them the lead with a well-taken goal earlier on in the first half. And after that, they pretty much kind of had control in the game. But Chelsea stayed in it and had their moments. Not that many, but had enough. And the goal finally came in extra time. Now, this is the kind of bounce effect we talk about that usually happens when a manager is sacked. And Chelsea kind of players showed that, probably playing for the next manager, probably playing for their places. City are in a bit of trouble. Guardiola went off injured. They've had injury to other centre-backs as well. There are talks that they probably want to go sign Mark Gahey in the winter transfer window itself. They're definitely going to be signing Semenyo, as we've already covered before in an earlier show. The deal is pretty much on. And maybe these couple of signings could put them right back on track to go and neck to neck and fight Arsenal for the title. But as of now, 6 points behind, couple of crucial injuries. It looks like it could be a season where City have bounced back from last season's woes, but are not completely there yet. Their performances haven't been as convincing as they used to be, but they were getting the results. And usually when City go on a result-oriented run, they stretch it to 10, 12 games. This time it didn't happen. They won about 5. But then, of course, the last 2 games, back-to-back draws, very unlikely, especially the 0-0 against Southampton was completely a shocker. It was a game in which nobody could understand how City didn't get the points. And I'm sure that Pep Guardiola knows that being 6 points behind is not a very good place to be. However, if there is anyone that you wouldn't back against coming back from 6 points behind, it's Pep Guardiola in the English Premier League, because he knows how to win a title or two. I'm going to move on to the title race drama now in my next segment, and I'm going to talk about the title race that is right now looking pretty much skewed in the favor of Arsenal. Yes, the Arsenal are 6 points ahead of Manchester City and Aston Villa, who are tied on points. And I wouldn't begrudge them for being not only being called favourites, but being in that pole position. Because truly, if I'm to be completely neutral and put my hand over my heart, I would have to admit that Arsenal have been the best team, arguably in the world, if not in England, this season. They've really been really consistent. There have been games in which they've been a little up and down. Yes, there have been games where they've relied on own goals, and of course they've relied a lot on set pieces, the corners. But the fact that Gabriel can come in and score goals from corners at will tells you that it's not a fluke. It's almost inevitable. It's almost like you expect Haaland to score. You expect Gabriel to score from a corner. You expect Saka to turn up. And the fact that they have these kind of different outlets is something that probably should be studied. You know, it's not completely exclusive to them. Another team could hire a set piece coach or fire one, like Liverpool just did, but hire another better one and manage to get goals from corners and set pieces. So Arsenal are doing something that can be emulated, but clearly is not being able to. And that shows they're doing a fantastic job. And credit where credit is due. I think it's going to be very difficult to catch on to them. They're 6 points ahead, like I just said, and this week they play Liverpool at home. I think they're bang on favourite to win that game, and if they do, They probably go 9 points ahead, and then we'll have to see if City and Aston Villa can respond. Aston Villa, by the way, on the other hand, after that blip against Arsenal, where they lost their first game, or rather dropped points for the first time in 11 games, bounced back very importantly this week and won their game 3-1. Now, see, that game to me was very important because usually when a team like Aston Villa goes on a run, it's like a momentum thing. You know, they're winning, they're winning, they're winning. And you think, okay, when they drop points, what's going to happen then? Are they going to be able to bounce back, or are they just going to fall apart? Unai Emery's team this season has shown once again you can't treat them like a small team anymore. I think Aston Villa is a proper powerhouse Premier League team now under Unai Emery, because the win not only signified the fact that they're very much in the title race, they're also able to bounce back from a crushing defeat. But it was a crushing defeat, make no mistake. 4-1 is probably a pretty humiliating defeat for Unai Emery, who was harboring probably thoughts of going level on points with Arsenal, and getting one more back over Arteta after the win earlier at home against Arsenal. But it didn't happen, and sometimes that does happen. That's football. That's the way sport is. You win some and, well, you lose some. But it's very important how you react to the loss. And the way Aston Villa have reacted tells me that, in spite of the fact that they're level on points with City, I would say that right now they are the team undoubtedly that have had the better season. Maybe City, with all their resources and their know-how of competing in many Premier Leagues before, could probably be a more decisive title race rival to Arsenal. But I'm still not writing off Aston Villa as yet. I still think this is a three-way title race. Clearly, front runners are Arsenal, but City and Aston Villa are still very much in the race. And I think it's going to be very crucial how Aston Villa react and Manchester City react to the point where Arsenal have those 1 or 2 games where they drop points. See, it's not possible that from January all the way till May, Arsenal are going to win all the games. That's not going to happen. Arsenal know that. Mikel Arteta knows that. Their players know that. And I know that. It's pretty obvious it's not going to happen. So my thoughts are in a way where I'm thinking what's going to happen maybe somewhere in Jan, end of Feb, when Arsenal maybe have a draw and maybe a win and then another draw, and they're 4 points dropped. Are City still going to be there and thereabouts? And if they are, and if the gap is only 3 points with an away game still to be played by Arsenal at the Etihad Stadium, which could pretty much be a straight up 6-pointer. And if City win that, then they could go level on points with Arsenal. These 5, 6, 7-point kind of areas are still manageable, right up until there are maybe only 4 or 5 games left. It's anything more than that, and I think it's still manageable. And I think if City or Villa can stay around that 5, 6, 7-point gap till maybe February, end of February, and then put that pressure on Arsenal, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Because, look, let's be very straight up about this title race. Until Arsenal win it, they haven't won a title for 21 years right now. So, as a Liverpool supporter, we've been there, haven't we, guys? We know what it is. So close, so many times. But until you cross that line and until you know how it's done, there's always that niggling doubt somewhere in the back of your head. And they've been second 3 times, mind you, back to back. They're going to be, that fear is going to be there. How they're going to use that fear? Are they going to use it to propel them like they have till now? Or is that going to bring them down a little? An injury or two can always happen to some of your best players. Also, you know that's the cruel nature of the game. It's very important to see how City and Aston Villa put their pressure on them. And then I'm so excited to see how Arsenal respond. If you ask me personally, where's my money at? My money 100% is on Arsenal. Because I think City are not completely back yet. The back-to-back draws this week shows that. Villa, we saw that against Arsenal at the Emirates. It's going to be a bit tough for them against the really, really top teams. They have been on an incredible run. I definitely think they're going to finish in the top 4 and make up for that disappointing Champions League Champions League spot loss last year. So I think they're gonna finish in the Champions League and duly deserved. City, I definitely see City also finishing there and thereabouts as second or maybe third if they really drop off. I'm really curious to see the top four race. I know this is a title race segment, but I think the top four race is going to be pretty amazing this season. Two out of those three teams or four teams in, going to have new managers for the last 4 5 months of the season. United are probably going to hire somebody right now. We're hearing Chelsea have hired a manager from Strasbourg as we speak. So I'm just going to look into that as well. They've signed a manager from France to take over. So two teams are going to probably have that new manager bounce effect. And I would say Newcastle under Eddie Howe have been there and thereabouts. They've been very, very consistent. Liverpool under Arne Slot, well, let's see. Can Slot turn it around, finish in the top four? Probably might keep his job if he does so. But I think if the next few games don't go according to the way Liverpool need them to go to, I think Slot's job probably is going to be in a lot of danger, and maybe Liverpool might not finish in the top four. So let's have a look at how that goes as well. It's a very exciting phase from now on till May, and I'm going to be here with you guys to catch it all on Matchday at the Cop. I'm going to wrap this episode for Matchday at the Cop. It's been an incredibly amazing 2025, and football played a very big role in it. See, I always say this, why a football podcast, or why is football so important? Bill Shankly said football is a matter of life and death. And sometimes I feel it is the difference between being happy in life and not being happy. I think football has the power to unite people. I feel football has the power to make people happy. Whether it's Africa, whether it's South America, whether it's Europe, or whether it's India, where football is so loved and craved by many, I feel football is the one unifying factor for all of us to move forward, to smile, and to look forward to a happy, blessed, and safe 2026. I'll see you very soon in the next episode of Matchday at the Cop. Here's Mikhail Kanthru signing off. See you later, and keep in love with life.